Hey guys, okay, so let's take a look at complements and supplements. So these are word problems, and we are going to see the word complement and the word supplement, and let's see what we should do when that happens. Okay, so first, complement, of course the first thing that comes to mind is complementary. So let's take a look at two angles that are complementary. So what I'm going to do is make a right angle because that's kind of my go-to picture in my head for 90 degrees. And now here I have two angles. And these two angles, when I add them, will be 90 degrees. That means that they are complementary. And if I have two complementary angles, one is the complement of the other. This angle here is 10 degrees, then the other angle is 80. If this here is 70 degrees, then its complement is 20. If I have an angle here that is 40, its complement is 50. So we can do this every time in our head because we know that the sum of the two angles is going to be 90. But what happens if all of a sudden we say that this angle is x? Now, don't want to say that this is y, but it's not necessarily going to be x either. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this 40. And if we said that this was 40, we could fairly easily say, well, then its complement is 50. But what if we couldn't figure that out in our heads? What if you had to tell a friend how to type that in the calculator? If this was 40, what would you type in the calculator to get the answer of 50? So then we can kind of come up with a bunch of different things, and hopefully somebody says, oh, 90 minus 40. 90 minus 40 would give us 50, and that's right. 90 minus 40, that's what gave us 50. The first one we did, by the way, was 10 degrees. And if we said that one angle is 10, then its complement is 80. So if we were given 10 degrees, what would you tell somebody to type in the calculator? And they would have to type in 90 minus 10, and that's correct. That's how they would get 80. 90 minus 10. Then the next angle that we here was 70. You told me that was 20. Well, in your head, you did 9 minus C. So each of these times, you did 9. So then what we want to do is say, okay, well, what about X? This would be any number at all. So what we would have to do for any number is 90 minus X. So what we want to do is remember the complement of a number is 90 minus x. And I'm putting it in parentheses because that whole expression, those two parts, that's one number. Well, let's think about supplement. So a supplement is this, if two angles are supplements of each other, then they add to be 180 degrees. And my best visual for 180 degrees is this linear pair. So this linear pair here, and sometimes I'll do this rainbow arc, that adds up to 180 degrees. So if I had an angle over here and I said it was 10, you would say, well, the whole thing is 180, so the rest of it, its supplement, is 170. If I said, oh, wait a minute, what if it was 40? You would tell me that its supplement is the rest of the 180, and that's 140. And I'd say, yeah, all that is right. And what if I did, oh, I don't know, 80? You would say, well, if that's 80, then that's 100. And if somebody had to do this in a calculator, then they would take the total angle, the 180, and subtract 80. And that's how they could get the 100, or the total angle, and subtract, what did we start with, 10. And we came up with the 100, and 70 for the other one. So that's how we get the supplement. So if I say that one angle here is x, then the supplement is the whole thing, 180 minus whatever angle we put in there. That's 180 minus x. And that's what we're going to say the supplement is, 180 minus x. So now that we have these two expressions, let's do first problems on that worksheet, and then I'm going to stop the video because I pointed along. Oops, that's not where I wanted to go. This is where I wanted to go. Okay, so let's remember, whenever we see the words, sorry about hole punch getting in the way, whenever we see the word complementary, then a complement of an angle is 90 minus x. When we have supplementary angles, then the supplement is 180 minus x. And of course, in both of these examples, there was an original angle, and that angle we said is going to be just the plain old x. Whatever the first angle is, 90 minus it is the complement. And whenever we were given an angle, 180 minus that number, that was the supplement. Okay, so let's do a couple of these guys. So for these, we are going to do some translation. So let's go over some quick translating and see what we remember from Algebra 1. Plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Okay. If you see the word quotient, then quotient falls under the division category. This is where you would see the word quotient if we saw it in a literal equation, something we had to translate, or in a wordy kind of word problem. So now if I have this sign over here, that's a minus sign, you might see the words minus. You might see the word difference. You might see the word less. And you might see less than. For this, you might see plus. We would never see and. And is like street talk, so it isn't a word. Plus, we might see the word some. We'll see greater than or more than. We'll see things like that. For the times sign, we would see times. 5 times a number. If we we would see the word product. Let's do that. And if we wanted to multiply a number by 2, instead of saying 2 times a number, we could say twice. And that's kind of a nice, compact, neat way of saying to double something, right? So twice, and that would mean 2 times. Okay, so we're not limited to this, but this is just to hopefully jog our memory of some of the words that we would use. Some of us might be looking at greater than and less than. Well, if we just see greater than, that does mean plus, and less than does mean minus. Some of us have this in our heads. If you see the inequalities, which by the way are not going to be used in geometry in this section, okay? So they are not in this section, wipe that out of your head, but you would see for the translation is greater than and is less than. That's what turns it into a sentence. You need that verb. And we are going to see the word is, and when we see the word is, it's going to be equals. Or whatever verb it is equal to. Sometimes they'll use the word measures, right? And they'll do that instead of writing the word is. Okay, so let's get back to work because I want to do these two before we get to 15 minutes. Okay. The measure of an angle is, there it is. The is the exact middle of my equation. It separates the left side and the right side. So the measure of an angle, so this is my angle measure, and that's my x, is 41 greater than its complement. Whenever I see the complement, this. Now I'm going to translate. Measure of angle is 41 greater than the complement. I need the parentheses in case I am multiplying. If it's something times the complement, it isn't. So it's just a plus in front, so ignore your parentheses. So x is equal to, and I'm going to add these numbers together, 131 minus x, add x to the other side, 2x is equal to 131, and I'm going to divide. And when I divide, I am going to get x is equal to 65.5. So that's my x, 65.5 degrees. To find the complement, literally, I take my calculator and I'm going to do 90 minus 65.5. Let's do that clear. 90 minus 65.5, 24.5 is your other angle. And those are my two angles. Let's do the second one pretty quickly here. Okay, so the measure of an angle is, so here's my angle, and my angle is x, that's my first guy, is 26 greater than, find supplement. So now they're throwing out the word supplement, and supplement is supplementary, that's 180. So this over here is the supplement, and that's 180 minus x. Now I'm going to go back and do my translation. The measure of an angle, so my angle is 26 greater than the supplement. Can I put plus 26 on the end? Sure, doesn't matter where you put it. We're still just adding it into the side of the equation. So now there's nothing to multiply, so I can ignore those parentheses, and I'm going to add these. 206 minus x, add x to the other side. 2x is equal to 206, and my x is equal to 103. My angle is 103, and my supplement is 180 minus 103, and that is 77 degrees. So these are your two angles. I'm going to stop here and make another video doing some more problems for practice because we did all of these in class today.